video. Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be going over to one of the Unreal Online learning projects. And we're going to download this Toon outline material and this paper material that you see around the edges of the screen. And then we're going to create another post-process material to create these Toon effects to make everything look like kind of cartoony. So let's get started. Go ahead and open up your Epic Games launcher and go to your Unreal Engine tab and then select Marketplace. And then over in the search products, we're going to search for stylized rendering. Well, I pushed rendering. Stylized. I'm just missing all kinds of letters here. Style, and it still missed it. Anyway, I'm gonna have to check my keyboard battery. If you select the free over here on the max on the filters, and it'll show you the one that we need. Just click on that. This one is about Epic Games, and it shows that it only works at 4.1 to 424. We're going to create a project with it, and then we're going to bring it in to Unreal Engine 5.11, and we're only going to export like 4 small things, I think. Just create your project. It'll say select the version of the engine for the project, and then when you push create, it might say that you won't be able to open this project or whatever. Just go ahead and create the project. Go ahead and buy or purchase it or add it to your cart if you haven't already, and then create the project. And then over in your library, since this doesn't have to have all the Unreal Engine 5 settings in place, it shouldn't take but just a minute to load the entire project up, because it doesn't have like Lumen and all that stuff activated on it. It's going to give you a lot of errors. Just go into the search content here when you're in all content and search for post, and then it's going to give us the 4 materials that we need to take out of here. Shift select each of those 4, and then go to asset actions, and then go to migrate. Make sure that your migration list, the asset report, only shows like M, those are materials, and T textures. You got to be careful not to export things into your projects for UEFN that are not supported by UEFN. There's some problems that it can cause, and cause a lot of bugs, and it can also cause you not to be able to even start to play your project. So things like blueprints and some functions, some material type functions like curves aren't going to work. And let's see, I don't know about, I know static meshes work, but I don't know about skeletal meshes. I haven't really messed with those. Those can cause some problems probably. You kind of want to stick to your materials, your textures, and things like material instances and static meshes. Everything else I would just kind of shy away from, especially if you're working on a project that you've already been working on, because you can cause some corruption issues, and then you'll have to go dig through your files to figure out what you need to delete. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and export those into documents, Fortnite projects. I'm just going to put them into a project that I've been playing around with. Just go into that project, into plugins, project name, and then just select the content folder and click select folder. And that way it's all done. You can just close this project. You can probably delete it if you want. Back inside of UEFN, there's a new folder in your content called environment. Inside of there, you'll find your materials. I'll go ahead and file and save all. And then up here, I'm going to add, let's see, where is our post-processing? Oh, it's visual effects, I think. Post-process volume. Select that. It's going to add it for you. If you just bring that down and look at it, all it is just like a small volume. Where did it go? Yeah, it's way over there. I don't know why it would stick it that far away. I need it over here. Man, what did it do with that thing? I'm deleting that one. I'll just grab another one. I'll make sure and set it somewhere here where I can see. It's kind of weird. Anyway, if you go on your post-process volume here and you scroll down, you'll find a one part in here that says post-processing materials here. You want to click the plus there to add one to it. Then we're going to select asset reference underneath that. Now if you go over here and you find M post-process base instance, you want your material instance, not your actual master material. You can just select that and then click the arrow and it adds to post-process. You can't see anything now, and there's a reason for that, because inside your post-process volume, if you were to scroll inside of this, then you can see it. See the new outlines on the post there, and then scroll out of it. They set this up to where if I want like this room to be one post-process and then another room to be the other or whatever, then you just have to extend this out to wherever, to fill the entire room to wherever you want the post-process to take place. Otherwise, if you just want your whole level to be the same process, then you can come down here in your post-process volume in the details, and there's under post-process volume settings, there's a setting called infinite extent unbound. You can just select that. If you go inside of this material, it's got like a couple of settings on there, post-process blend, but not really that much. Let's open up our actual post-process here. Inside of here, let's see, there's our blend weight. Okay, that's going to be for the paper. Doesn't draw outlines as mesh uses custom color depth, which we're not using the custom color depth on here. I was hoping that I could see somewhere on here where we could change the size of the outlines. Here we go. This is where we're getting our clamps, scene textile size. I can't really see where it is. I think that's it. Does that make the outlines deeper? I can't really tell. One of these actually makes the outlines bigger. I'm not a material guy. Well, here's the line color. Okay, and that's just a blender. I'm not really post-process. I'm not a material guy, so a lot of this stuff is just magic to me. I just know that it works. We've got our outliner there. Just go ahead and I'm gonna say no. I don't want to save that changes that I made to it. The second post-process material that we have in here is paper, and it takes this paper and it can lay it over the top of it. But you don't have to do this, but you have to be sure if you do to do these in order that the first one is your base instance, and then you add another one to the array, and the second one you actually make this paper. Anyway, you see what it did? It like puts that texture all over everything. Kind of a paper texture, makes it look kind of cartoony. Still looks not quite cartoony like a regular post-process material, which we'll build one of those, but I just wanted to show you this for now. We can go back and put our Toon shader on this. Let's go ahead and launch it. Save selected. Another thing I want to tell you guys is when you upload stuff, when you migrate stuff into your project, if you've got that Unreal, the revision control set to true when you create your project, then everything you upload or everything that you put on your project gets uploaded to the servers as a backup. So sometimes if you put a lot of new stuff onto your project, like you import it or migrate it or whatever, and then when you try to start your project, it's going to come up with an error that's going to say something like error code 24, public assets not allowed, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it says, but if you go back and you save your project a couple of times and then just wait a few minutes, depending on how much stuff you added, you could have to wait quite a few minutes, but eventually it will play. It's just slowly uploading all that stuff to the servers apparently. And while it's uploading, it won't play. Anyway, I'll show you guys what this looks like in game. That paper is actually going to create an outline that goes around the screen. It's pretty cool. You can change the color of it too, the color of that paper if you wanted it to look like something else. We'll mess with that in just a minute too. As soon as this thing decides to load. See the outline around the screen? So there's some other things we can do with the post-process too. This world's not finished, it's just kind of blocked out. And you can see the paper texture is actually a world align texture. It moves when you move the camera. Let's see what the start game looks like. Because it usually looks a little bit better in game than it does in the editor. You can use the post-process volume to change a lot of settings, like your color, hue, and saturation. You can set your there we go. You can set the light. You can clamp the light down. I'll show you how to do some of that stuff. If you go into your post-process volume, if you go up to the top here, you've got exposure, and you can select this metering mode and the minimum max brightness if you don't want the camera constantly changing. You can set exposure compensation if you want to really brighten things up or you really want to tone things down without having the camera like go all over the place. Like if you want to make like a really spooky scene or if you want to make something really well lit. Alright guys, now if you go back into these project folders, if you go into the environment materials folder here, let's create a new material. We're going to call it material, or just call it MPP Toon, post-process Toon, because we're going to make some cartoon effects. You open that, and then open this, bring this back over here. If you open your shader here, if you right click on this and you go down here to material domain, we're going to change that to post process. As you're going to see that it's not going to create anything. We're going to create a couple of scene textures. Right click and type in scene, and then you'll see one called scene texture. And this one we're going to set to, let's see, post process input 0. Just hit Control D to duplicate it. And then this one we're going to change it to, let's see, where is that at? Base color is stored in G buffer. Then we're going to add a couple of desaturate nodes here. Just right click and type desat. I'm going to control D, add another one. We can just leave those. We don't need anything else. Then we're going to divide those two. And then we're going to saturate it. You can see, you can go ahead and look at this, or you can connect them to do that. Or you can right click and click start previewing node, and it just shows you what's coming out of that node. As we move along, you'll be able to see more stuff. Type in mask. We're going to add a component mask. If you go over here and turn off the green, so only red's coming out. We're going to add a couple of parameters. Just called scalar parameters. I'm going to call this one light shadow threshold. I'm going to set it to 0.5. Then I'm going to add another one, so I can just control copy that one. Press F2 to change the name. Light shadow transition size. And this is going to allow us to change the width of the bands that are coming from the, as you tunify stuff, you'll be able to see the bands. Alright, let's move these back a little bit. I want to move this out of my way some more. Alright, we need a subtract node. And then we need an add node. Actually, that one goes in there. And then we're going to have to smooth step it. Sorry, I can't be more clear on how this stuff works because I honestly don't know. I'm just trying to show you that it does work. And so that if you guys wanted to mess around with these Toon stuff, you can. Actually, no. Hold down 3 and make a 3 vector and then set its color to white. Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit gray. This is going to be our shadow color. A bit darker than that. And then I'm going to make another one and make it absolutely white. This is the stuff that's going to be in the light. I add a linear interpolate alert node. And we can bring him right over into the alpha from the smooth step. Now, I'm going to add Let's see. I want to take these two here. Select them both. Hold down Alt. Well, no. Just hit Control D. This one on the top here. And we can multiply these. Actually, no, I got that wrong. We multiply this. We're going to add and just hold down 1 and select, then right click on that and convert it to a parameter. Rename it to base render blend. Now we can add these two. Go into mask. This is a component mask. What we're doing here is we're fixing to blend this into a 3 vector, and it comes out as a 4 vector because it has red, green, blue, and the alpha, but we're going to leave the alpha out of it so it doesn't cause an error. So I do know a little bit of stuff, but just not a lot. In here, we're going to go into a multiply. And then we're going to multiply it by that mask material. Let's pull this down a little more. Add another scene texture. Post-process input 0. We're going to add another mask for the same reason that we just added that one, to get the alpha out. And we're going to alert. Our materials there. Then we're going to do one other thing. We're actually going to make it so that if you're outside and you want to post-process render the sky along with everything else, then you can set this number really high. So we're going to add a scene depth node. And then we're going to add another parameter. Max distance. We're going to set this to like something high, like 500,000. Then we're going to step it. Into our output. And then run our alert into our color there. Let's see. Alright. This base render blend right here, let's go ahead and set that to like 0.5. I think that's the only thing we have to set. Go ahead and save it. Hit the apply. Okay, back in our project, back in the environment materials folder, we created this called Toon material. Right click on that and create material instance. And we can go in here, we can change a few of these settings like this. I'm going to set it to like 0.37. And that I'm just going to leave the same. light shadow threshold. Set it to like 0.1. Transition size 1. I'm just changing things up just a little bit. Save all. And then back in our post-process volume, we're actually going to add this material on top of our other materials that we had, which you could just use this material by itself, or you could just use the in process base material, but you can't use the paper material by itself. It will cover up the whole screen because it doesn't have a mask. This in post process that we imported actually has the mask that's needed for that. Go ahead and add another, and then choose asset reference. I'm going to make sure our instance is selected. And now we get a bit more of a cartoony effect. As you can see, everything looks a little more flat, kind of weird, oddly shaded. Let's take this out and just see what it looks like. See, now it looks really cartoony. And that's about it. There is some post-processing materials that are available for free just until Tuesday in the actual marketplace, the free for the month stuff. There's a shader in there, but I don't know if it works. I haven't tried it. You're welcome to give it a try. Anyway, that's all for this time, guys. I appreciate you watching. Be sure and like and subscribe if you want to see more videos.